But today I want to talk about alignment because the thing about it is so many of us are running around here and we're just doing. But we are not in alignment. So what we want to do this month is we want to be in alignment before we act. So before you start running around and doing all the things and here and there and all this stuff, don't do that. Stop. Wait. Get into alignment. See what it is that you really want. Your wealth will multiply through energetic clarity. So as you are learning to sit with yourself and as you're learning to listen to your voice, which is something that I talked about today in my meditation group. I had a meditation today at the community center where I live, and we talked about getting in alignment before we're running around hustling. Because this particular group that I was with, all the people I think are retired. And so they are in a space where, they don't have to do the hustle. But some of them have, it's just as new to them as it is with me. Not used to not having to hustle, not having to always be on the grind. And so this is like a new thing. And so this month, this is the message that came to me from Spirit, is that this month is about alignment before action. So no time to be out of alignment and just running around here, doing things and running around like a chicken with your head cut off is how my grandmother used to say it. Running around here like a chicken with my head cut off. And so I want to tell you that your wealth is already here, because here's the thing. No more chasing wealth. We are not chasing anything. We are receiving and we're getting into the flow. We are stepping into our divine feminine. So you're aligning to the version of you who already has it, this person. And so what do you do for that? How do you do that? And so one thing that I do is I do mirror work, and I talk to myself in the mirror, and I do it almost all day, every day. Chris Brown, thank you for joining. Um, but I do mirror work, and I tell myself all the things that I believe somebody else would tell me. I say the things that my husband says to me because he's so amazing at being encouraging and sharing these things. So we are not chasing, we are aligning. We are getting into alignment with the version of the person who already has what it is that you want, the things that you are desiring. So what happens is the portal opens when you stop doubting your worth and you start receiving with open arms. That's another thing. Because so many times we are in this space where we are just doubting. We're doubting. And a lot of times it's because of conditioning, because of how we've been conditioned. Because I don't know if y'all remember in school, they talked about the conditioning with the rat or the mouse in the maze. If they went a certain way, they got stung. Like a stun gun. But they went a certain way. They set it up so that they went a certain way. They got stunned. So after a while, it took some of them a little while longer than others. But after a while, they stopped going that way. Why? Because in their mind, and this is how we think, in their mind, they are already been stung that way. So in their mind, that's not a way for them to go. It's not even an option. And that is what a lot of us have done. We have taken our options away. We've taken our options away, because of some conditioning in the past. So the one thing I have to say to you today too is release that past. Let that shit go. Yes, you tried to buy a house, 20 years ago and you couldn't buy it because, your credit was messed up or somebody, scammed you or whatever. Let that shit go. Release it. Ask yourself daily, how would I show up today if I already trusted that money is on its way? How would I show up today? Who would I be? Who would I be? Because here's the thing, y'all. What shows up for you is because of who you are being. Who you are being. So when you get to this space where you realize that you have been living in lack and you've been thinking in lack, and then you decide that you are no longer available for that. You have decided that it's time for me. It's time for me to make that decision for myself. and know that I am abundant. Now, is this an overnight process? Hell no. It's not an overnight process. It is something, it is a journey. This is a marathon. So it's not something that's going to happen, in a flash. And then I say that because I do believe in miracles. There are times when it does happen that way. However, we cannot live from miracle to miracle. You just can't. It's just not a way to live your life. And so the other thing I want to offer you is, it came to me, was offer from overflow, not obligation. Now I have notes, just so you know. But people are magnetized to your energy when you are in joy, when you are in flow. Don't you realize when you go in a store, and this happens to me all the time, probably because I cultivate these experiences. But when I go in a store and I'm positive because that's who I am, and they say stuff like, well, how you doing? And I say, I'm great. It's a great day. I'm above the dirt, and then I get that reflected back to me, which is amazing. And I believe that in this world, if we will do more of that, because, people walk in and they look down and bad and tired and they've been through something. And you say, you know what? It's a great day to be alive. I say that all the time in the store to people. I say it's a great day to be alive because you know why? It is. Regardless of what's going on, regardless of who's in the house, regardless of the stupid stuff that they're doing, regardless of any of that shit, that means nothing. So you want to offer from, Spirit gave me this gift to serve, and money is the byproduct of that love. This is what you want to offer from. You want to offer from your heart. You don't want to offer from, oh my God, I got to get this money. I got to get this money. Because people can actually feel that energy and it repels people, which to me, if you think about it logically, it doesn't really make sense. If if you need to make money, then that should not repel people, but it does, if you're in that energy. Now, I'm not saying you don't need money, because we all need it, because that's what we use to buy things. That's how we eat. That's how we buy our food. If we got to buy food, you know what I mean? That's, how we put gas in the car, because we have to go places. And so one thing I would ask you to ask is, what would feel joyful or easy to sell this month? So this is something that I was working on with my spirit guides. It might be a pop-up healing series or a one-to-one God and wealth session, downloadable meditations or activations, live master classes, all that stuff. Like for me, I am going to start doing live master classes once a month. That's a part of my mission going forward, and a part of my strategy, I guess. And so that is one thing. Another thing that you can do is collaborate for visibility. And so I'm saying that, and I see Chris Brown on this live, and we actually did a podcast interview on Tuesday. And it's already on here actually, which was amazing. And it actually is on YouTube too. So I guess it didn't work. It worked out like it needed to. So I'm super excited about that. But that's one thing that you can do. You can do podcasts. I'm actually starting to do more myself other than the ones that I produce. You can co-host a workshop, and that's something that I used to do all the time. And I think that's probably something that I need to get back to. I would co-host a workshop, on wherever. I probably would do it on here, even if I could. I don't know exactly how to do it because I love to use my slides and Zoom and stuff. You can invite people to be an affiliate for your offers. Sit down and see what that looks like for you. You can offer to do guest readings or healings in other people's groups. You can get on here like I am and just start talking to people and sharing about who you are and what it is that you do, and sharing your heart in a way that makes people understand and react and attract. So it's like attraction marketing. That's what I call it. Because here's the thing, y'all. The people are there. People need so much help. And there are so many of us that do so many different things, because one of the things that I do that I don't talk about that much anymore, I used to, but I do DNA activation. And I think the reason why I don't really talk about it that much is because I'm rewiring how I do it. Because I took a course, I learned how to do it, and I've done it that way a few times. Yeah, I've done it that way probably about 10 times. And so I'm looking at it in a different way, and I'm wanting to use it differently. So this to me is an example of when you start changing the game. Because just because you learn Reiki in this way, or you learn, whatever you learn, Theta Healing, Reiki, Prana, there's 50,000 million of them, Crystal Reiki, Dolphin Reiki, and Animal Reiki, you name it, you've learned it. Just because you learned it that way does not mean that you have to stay in that box. I tell people all the time, I said, I am a Reiki master teacher, but I am not doing any of that. I barely ever say that because I don't do that. But I do use energy. I use energy. I am also a certified theta healer. I don't really do that either. You know what I mean? Y'all, I'm looking at the little deer running outside. Okay, anyway. So yes, the boxes. No, we got to come out them boxes. And if you get a call to something, if spirit speaks to you and it's like, spirit, source, God, universe, whatever you call it, speaks to you and is like, you know what? You need to do blah, 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 or do this, and this thing, especially if it's something that you have been looking for. And then the other thing too is things evolve. Things evolve. They evolve. They say that there's nothing new under the sun. However, things do shift and they evolve and they become better and they become, you might have a modality in you that it's time for you to bring forth. It might be, a session that will change people's lives. You know what I mean? That you're too scared to put out there. And so what I want you to say is your income will rise to meet the level you feel safe holding. And y'all, that is so true and so real. I thought, I thought about that before. I've heard it before. I've heard it said before, but I don't think I really believed it. And so I didn't realize it. But now it's like all of a sudden I see it. It's like the breakthrough has come. The message from spirit came, the message came. So what I want you to do right now is breathe in through the nose, hold it at the top, and then breathe it out through the mouth with a sigh. And then say, it is safe to receive more. It is safe to be seen. It is safe to overflow. That felt so good to me. And every time you receive something, a compliment, a payment, anchor in, thank you, the universe, God, source, whatever you want to call them, I receive fully. And so when you really begin to own that and you begin to feel it and you begin to see it, it doesn't even matter whether, in the 3D it's here. As long as you know that it's here, as long as you realize and for me, it's like I had to realize that, regardless, I'm supported. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I don't have no clients. I'm supported. But that's not an easy thing to get to. It is not easy. It is a little of a struggle. But you can get there. You can get there. Once you start realizing that I am supported, it doesn't even matter. And then, stop thinking about the how. Because I don't know if you noticed, but I did not even talk about any hows in this video. Because that is something that we are not even concerned with. We're not concerned with the how. We just need to know that wealth flows when you own your divinity and trust the divine timing. Nothing is delayed. It is being prepared for you. So with that, I'm going to leave y'all, but I really do appreciate you joining me. And I hope you got something out of that. Make sure that you go to YouTube and follow me at Intuitive Tammy. And if you are a spiritual entrepreneur and you would like to come on Straight Out of Savannah, where I talk to spiritual entrepreneurs, make sure that you send me a message wherever you see me. I am Intuitive Tammy on here, on YouTube, on TikTok, um, and on Facebook, I'm Tammi Morrison. So you can find me at any of those places. I do appreciate all of you, and I thank you for your time. And think about if you want to subscribe, because, we have subscriptions, and I really appreciate it. I also have my membership, and I dropped the link down there. Remember who the fuck you are. I'm looking for founding members. It's $25 a month, y'all. I'm going to do 2 Zoom calls a month, and I have things actually already in the community where you can, get some resources. I have lots of free ones in there, especially. My Stand store also has lots of free and paid resources. So you can go in there and grab some things. If you would like to have a session with me, I have soul mirror sessions that I'm doing now, and I'm doing them for pay what you want. So I'll be dropping the link in that and probably putting a post up here so that people can see it, and then also on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok. So you can come and join me and grab some of those soul mirror readings, because I'm going to do them right now. Pay what you want, but they're going to eventually go up to $77. And it's 45 minutes of me and you on Zoom getting into what you need me to get into. So again, thank y'all for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I would love it if you would check out my Substack and see and let me know some things, like comment and let me know, how these things land for you, because I'm really interested. So again, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope that your day is magical, and I will definitely see you probably on tomorrow. Bye now.